certainly looks like the November elections of 2010 are shaping up to be an interesting one. And none could be more contentious than the race between longtime incumbent Harry Reid and newcomer Sharon Angle. Now, besides painting Sharon as an extremist, Harry Reid keeps talking about all the great things he's done for America. And that makes me wonder where Harry Reid's mind is when he's saying all those things.
Perhaps this is where Sir Harry Reid is. In a land where chocolate flows like rivers past candy canes and freshly grown lollipops, fruity apple trees, and jolly leprechauns with gold pots for everyone. The wizard fairies lie gracefully over the land, protecting one and all from harm. It really is a nice place.
Time to wake up.
All kidding aside, I know a lot of people that are really angry at Reid, but I'm not. I'm a bit concerned for him. What if he's experiencing signs of Alzheimer's? You have to admit, Harry Reid has been increasingly acting weird. For example, in 1993, Reid complained on the Senate floor that programs that were designed for citizens were being abused by illegal immigrants.
A reward for being an illegal immigrant. No sane country would do that. If you break our laws by entering this country without permission given...
Today, he's developing programs that are designed specifically to only benefit illegal immigrants. Now that's quite a change.
No sane country would do that.
How about the interview he did where he insisted on the ridiculous notion that taxes are voluntary?
Phraseology. I don't think we force people.
Taxation is not forceful?
Our system of government is a voluntary tax system.
Hey, tell that to Willie Nelson and Wesley Snipes. Harry Reid has always claimed to be a big gun rights advocate, yet he supported 2 Supreme Court nominees that gun lobbies vehemently opposed. And more striking, he supported the nomination of Cass Sunstein to regulatory czar. This is a very powerful position with very little congressional oversight. Cass Sunstein has considered the outright banning of hunting and thinks that it would be a good idea, and I'm not making this up, to give animals human rights and allow them to sue humans. Now, if you think hunting is complicated enough with licensing, fees, regulations, and lotteries, just wait until the deer you shot at and missed takes you to court. Cass also doesn't think humans should own animals. Just wait till your cat hears about that. I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, I'm here to serve you on behalf of Scruff with the claim that your choice of cat food amounts to cruel and unusual punishment. Your apartment is too small and dirty, and Scruffy is a demeaning name. From here on out, she would like to be referred to as Mitzi. Please gather her toys and litter box. You'll need to speak to her attorney for any further communications.
What you want?
Reid has passed about $1 trillion in stimulus, and he still wants to pass more. Yet they can't seem to show that it's done anything substantial other than raise our debt through the ceiling. The people that he listens to and has supported are Greenspan, Geithner, and Bernanke. They give reports month after month of what they predict to happen and how they plan to deal with it. It is amazing to watch years of these reports on video, on YouTube, where they consistently get it wrong, far more than they get it right. In case you'd like to learn and see how easy it is to compare economist records, go to YouTube and search Keynesian economics versus Austrian economics. Look, I know you're busy, and you probably don't want to spend a bunch of time learning about Econ 101, but it's Reid's job to figure out who it is who's getting it right. And if you can do it by simply watching a few videos on testimony on YouTube, why is it he continues to listen to the very people who keep getting it wrong, while he consistently ignores those who predict everything accurately? It is the definition of insanity. But hey, let's assume the stimulus plan was a good idea, despite all the evidence to the contrary.
And now to the money taxpayers shelled out for the stimulus package.
$700,000 for this researcher to study improvised music. More for a project on interactive dance. There's $1.9 million to photograph ants. 4/10 of a salary was created from a study of monkey behavior on cocaine.
The website was riddled with reports of jobs in places that didn't even exist.
As you can see from numerous news reports, that the stimulus plan he passed seemed to have an awful lot of programs that would be questionable even in good times. Now, I got nothing against ants, but which economist thought this was an effective way to stimulate the economy? I'm also curious if those monkeys had decent legal counsel. But then there's the healthcare bill. Now remember how important it was that we pass a healthcare bill because, quote, healthcare costs are spiraling out of control. So Harry Reid and company forced through a bill into law that actually manages to increase the cost of healthcare dramatically. His own actuaries admit this. Since then, some estimates put the additional healthcare cost at around $100 billion, as high as $1 trillion over the next 10 years in additional costs. Add to that insurance premiums, to use their language, seem to be spiraling out of control as a result of this law. You kind of have to wonder, did he forget why he passed the bill? Speaking of memory, it seems like he was having an awful lot of trouble with his memory during the process. As an example, during the healthcare summit, Reid said this.
No one has talked about reconciliation, but that's what you folks have talked about ever since that came out.
Evidently, he forgot that not a week earlier he gave an interview where he said this.
Reconciliation can be used for different purposes. We can write a whole new bill, okay? Or we can use reconciliation to pass the bill we've already passed.
And recently, he seems to even be having trouble remembering who he is. But during his campaign, he somehow managed to put up a site that had Sharon Angle's name and campaign information. Until, of course, he was served with a court order to cease and desist. No! Now, there are so many other examples I could give, but for the sake of time, here are just a few more. I know a lot of us didn't like the Iraq War, but hey, reality is reality.
That this war is lost.
He said that, even though we had more than a couple of months of direct evidence that the surge was working. Rather well, in fact. Telling one of the largest newspapers in Nevada, "I hope you go out of business." That was smart. And then calling Chris Coons, the self-described bearded Marxist, that he's his pet. Yuck. And finally,
Today is a big day in America. Only 36,000 people lost their jobs today, which is really good.
now I know his campaign's been saying a lot about his opponent Sharon Angle, about how she would eliminate Social Security. Of course, they also say she's extreme because she wants to get rid of the Department of Education. Well, let me address that point. The Department of Education was started in 1979 by Jimmy Carter with the stated goal of improving grades and increasing graduation rates. Now, since then, has it improved? No, it hasn't. Not at all. Well, how much did we spend at the Department of Education for absolutely nothing? Well, nearly $500 billion. Now, I don't know about you, but I think $500 billion is more extreme than getting rid of a department that doesn't work. But that's just me. Either way, if you just can't vote for Sharon Angle, okay, fine. Why not just write in a candidate? It doesn't matter who. How about one of your pets? You might as well start kissing some ass now before they are all lawyered up. Look, I'm not a doctor, and I know none of this proves anything. But you have to admit, his behavior is getting increasingly bizarre and erratic. And during times like these, would it make sense to take that kind of a chance? Just give Harry Reid a chance to retire to a nice tropical island where he can spend all that money he somehow managed to make as a public servant all these years. I mean, the fact is, if you elect him to another 6-year term, hey, don't be surprised if he's completely lost all control of his faculties and takes weird behavior to the next level of outright insanity.
What you want?
Let poor old Harry Reid retire with some dignity. Vote for anyone else.